Hello, I'm going to talk about a module within the International Foundation Programmes that is a very specific module, which is the Life Sciences of a University Study. This is a really interesting module, and people take it if they're going on to degree programmes such as biosciences or criminology or environmental science, so it's quite a broad topic. So we're going to be looking at basically what pathways can be accessed on the International Foundation Programme with the Life Science module. Introduction to the Bioscience pathway, a look at the degree programmes offered at Kent after completing the Bioscience pathway, and then obviously we're going to be looking at the Life Science module as well and looking at the topics covered on this module. So the International Foundation Programme, which is it's a one-year course designed for international students looking to study in the UK. So this course prepares students for the style of teaching and learning that you go on to during a UK degree, and it does that very rigorously. So some of the things that we talk about in the module and also the course as a whole are things like how to reference properly, how to avoid plagiarism in assignments, how to interpret information properly, and how to interpret academic texts. So this is something that isn't covered in a traditional A-level course all the time, so this is actually giving you an advantage when you go onto your degree programme. The International Foundation programmes also prepare you by developing your English language and your academic skills, which is really important. So most of our students will be guaranteed they'll all be guaranteed entry onto the undergraduate programme, providing they've met the necessary entrance requirements. So normally it's you have to pass the overall course on the IFP with about 60% overall for each module, and then you will be guaranteed to graduate through onto the degree programme. We get over 90% of our students progressing onto the degree programme, sometimes more. The module that I'm talking about, the Life Science module, runs over 3 terms, starts in September, so there are 2 terms of teaching and then there's an examination at the end. So as I said earlier, the degree programmes that you can go on to are very diverse: biomedical science, biology, biochemistry, lots of environmental, social sciences you can move on to. Sports and exercise science is a very popular one. Also, you can go into courses like psychology as well and things like that. So it's a very diverse programme. So we'll talk about the Life Science module in a bit more detail, because that's obviously what we're looking at today. So the Life Science module, as I said, it's autumn and spring term teaching. It's about 30 weeks, and within each week you have a 2-hour lecture, a 1-hour seminar and a 1-hour workshop, and these workshop and seminars are normally scheduled at the same time. The module introduces students to the study of biosciences, and it's predominantly theoretical and classroom based. There are some activities that we do within the classroom, though, things like molecular modelling and things like that, which we do as activities. The lectures will cover some of the key concepts and theories in biosciences, and it will also encourage students to explore biosciences to get them ready for university undergraduate study. The module is assessed through 60% coursework and 40% on the final exam. So the final exam is quite weighted within the course. There will be a combination of lectures and seminars, as I said. You will be taught to write scientifically and with rigorous attention to detail, things like referencing and things like that. So you'll have to do assignments, presentations, seminar participation and exams, obviously. So there's a diversity of assignments within the module. So there are some generic things that you have to get out of the course, so things like showing your knowledge and understanding of approaches to university study generally, also understanding theories and methods and findings in research. You also have to make sure that you comply with deadlines, assessments, seminars, and engage appropriately with all of these different types of teaching. Be able to manage your time effectively and use information and the library to support your learning. Specifically for the life sciences module, you need to be able to understand the knowledge of bioscience, what it is, what kind of areas it covers, the key concepts in it that relate to current and contemporary issues, and I'll come on to that in a moment. Also show an awareness of sub-disciplines within biosciences, and you'll also be able to evaluate information, interpret quantitative graphics, data, and look at textbooks and articles relevant to bioscience study, and an awareness and knowledge and understanding of data handling processes as well. So the life science module will take you through these different levels. So the course is actually designed to go from atoms to the biosphere, and everything in between. So we're looking at atomic structure and function, and how atoms form molecules, how molecules form cells and cellular processes, how these cells then form tissues, organs and organ systems which form a whole organism. Will then move beyond the organism and look at populations, communities, ecosystems and the biosphere. That's a lot of information to cover. Obviously it's not done in a huge amount of depth, but there's an awareness then of the life processes that are evolved on Earth. So you get a really good introduction to all of these things. And so the first term we tend to cover the biochemical aspects of the course, so atoms, molecules, cellular processes, so things like structure and function of DNA, mutations, genetics, gene technology, and the ethics involved in that we look at as well, because that's a really huge contemporary issue. So the more that we evolve the knowledge on gene technology, the more ethical issues that it brings up. So for example, the potential to clone humans is something that we look at. The technology is not quite there yet because humans are a lot more complex than other mammals. But just because we are able to clone humans potentially, does it mean we should? So we look at different ethical issues like that. We also look at tissues, organs and organ systems, and we look at pathologies within those as well, so things that can go wrong. And then we go into populations, communities and ecosystems. And obviously the main feature here would be climate change. Obviously that's a huge issue that affects everybody. So we look at how humans impact on the climate and the biosphere as a whole, so the whole of the globe. So that's something that we cover. We concentrate on some of these key issues that impact humanity. So the impact of gene technology, so I've said about ethics, so genetic testing, genetically modified foods, etc. We also look at the issue of antibiotic resistance, so how we can develop antibiotics against different parts of a bacterial cell, for example, and how bacteria are fighting back, and some of the things that we can do to help with human health as a result. Development of vaccines, obviously the COVID vaccine, we'll look at how that was developed and the technology behind that. We'll also, obviously, as I said, focus on climate change as well when we come on to the ecology section. So the course is it's really designed as a kind of a cohesive life processes course, and so you'll get a bit of everything within it. And so hopefully when you go on to do the course that you're going to do afterwards, you should have some knowledge in order to enable you to successfully transition to a degree course from that. The assignments are fixed. Every module on the International Foundation Programme has set assignments. There's an in-course test in the first term just to test your kind of where you are with the knowledge. There are 2 main assignments and a seminar preparation as well, sometimes a presentation, and then a final exam at the end.